Okay, for the mock fly zipper, you can cut 2 of your pattern pieces. I know we're all working at home, we're kind of limited on supplies. So this is the size zipper that I have. I think it's the one that if you got it from the classroom, you might have a similar size too. This one I would say is probably a little too short. It would be nice if it went all the way up here. And then I would assume that there's seam allowance up here to later have a waistband sewed in, and the waistband you could like use a button to open and close it. So I mean, what we could do, I mean, gosh, and maybe, oh well. What we could do is we could just cut our pattern so it's shorter, kind of change these high-rise jeans into low-rise. That's an option. And honestly, we probably want this stopper like down here too. If it's up a little high, there's like gonna be a little hole maybe you could see. So really probably better. So this zipper is very short. So you know what? But again, this is a notebook sample. Let's just pretend we're cutting a low-rise pair of pants, right? Sometimes that's in style, sometimes it's out of style. I don't know. But yeah, I guess an important part of sewing a zipper is having the right zipper. And you know, if it's too long, that's actually better than too short because you can always make it shorter later as well. Another thing that I have here is a zipper foot. So today I'm sewing on my home sewing machine. So my zipper foot looks really different than how the classroom ones look like. The classroom ones are really essentially just like half this size. But because my home sewing machine, the needle is usually centered, but I can move it to the left or to the right. So that's why the home sewing foot looks a little bit different than our classroom ones do. So yours at home probably looks something like this as well. Okay, so step 1, we are going to sew, because again, we cut out 2. We're gonna sew this little, I guess it's the rise, the crotch seam front rise. We're gonna sew that just from where the little placket starts. We're gonna backstitch and sew straight. And we're gonna give it a 1/2 inch seam allowance. We'll sew our fabrics together, and then we'll come back and do the next step. Okay, so that crotch seam, 1/2 inch seam allowance. My engraved line says 4/8, so this is my little line I have to line up to. And I'm getting like the bottom of the fly to kind of line up with the needle, and the raw edge is 1/2 inch away. Put my needle down to save my spot. Press our foot down. Okay, let's get my pin out of the way. I guess the hard part is gonna be just keeping my raw edge at 4/8 inch. I'm gonna backstitch. Okay. Backstitch to finish. My take-up lever is in the top position, so I can just lift up my presser foot and pull out my fabric. Okay, just took it out of the machine, so I should probably just trim these annoying threads out of my way. There we are. For fun, I can see how well I did on my seam allowance. So kind of marking my ruler at 1/2 inch. Yeah, I actually got 1/2 inch even at my curve. That's always, I guess, nice. Okay, cool. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna fold it open, just one of the edges. And I wonder if it's worth trimming it. I think I'm gonna do it. Trim, I did it. Just I could fold this guy so that it can go straight up and down. Okay. Gonna give that a little press. Okay, and then now the other one, let's see if I can open this guy. Here, I'm gonna actually press it this way as well. Okay, so now that we have fabric here, we also want to press it, but I want it to overlap just a little bit, like maybe 1/4 of an inch. So I'll flip it around this way, and I'm just gonna cut it as well right here. And so I don't wanna press it like all the way so it matches. I want it to overlap about 1/4 of an inch, okay? So let's see how this looks. Let's see if I did it straight. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, get all this on top. And just ignore that little part for now. Yeah, so when all our seam allowance and everything is sitting straight, so make sure, you know, this might have to be like that, there. So I open this up. Yeah, looks like it's overlapping about 1/4 inch, which is good. So I'll just give it an extra press. Approved. Okay, so now our next step, and that part that's overlapped, that's a little bit longer, we are going to line up our zipper. Okay, so again, probably want your little zipper stopper kind of lined up with where the seam of the crotch begins. And you know, I encourage you, go look in your closets, go examine some pants that you have. Where is the zipper stopper on those pants? And see if there's any differences between pants, if some are up here or some are low. I don't know. Fun little research assignment, I guess. Okay, so now I'm gonna pin this. I'm gonna try to get the fabric pretty close to the teeth, but of course I don't want it to like ever get stuck in the teeth. So be careful about that. Okay, and I'm gonna take it to the machine and I'm gonna put my zipper foot on and I'm gonna sew just straight down pretty close to the edge of the fold there. I'll backstitch at the top and of course backstitch at the bottom. So here I go. Okay, so for me, it's pretty easy to change feet. This guy actually just pops off. You know, we all have different home sewing machines. I'm gonna wanna probably sew right here. So I don't wanna do this side, I wanna do this side. And there's just a bar, you can see my big fingers are in the way, it just snaps in. So mine is fairly simple. So check your manual if you're not sure, or just YouTube the model of your sewing machine. There's probably tons of videos out there. And then I'll line up my presser foot to the edge of my fold. I'm gonna put the presser foot down. Now my needle right now, actually I don't even need to move it. It's actually pretty good. But my needle, I can move my needle. Let's see what directions. Oh, that's not a good direction for me though. So I'll stay over here on number 5 to the right. So just make sure your needle's in the right position. If you're on a home sewing machine, you usually have the power to scoot it around. Hope that's not too far away for me. Okay. So I'm gonna backstitch. Okay, and we're gonna go forward here. Now I'm going to back stitch. Okay, so get my needle up, lift up my presser foot, pull it out, so I sewed right down to the bottom, and trim my thread. Okay, so I just sewed my zipper here, just gave it a little top stitch. I'm just gonna get rid of those pesky threads. They make me crazy. Okay. Great. So let's see what we have here. Cool. Great. So again, when this is going the right way, just kind of go straight up and down. And now what we're just gonna sew a J that goes around. Now the only thing is when we do it, we wanna make sure we catch our zipper tape. So for example, I don't wanna sew all the way out here when I go down, because then let's say I sew right here, I'm not catching my tape. So put this in the right spot and just kind of figure out where that top stitch needs to be. Basically, it looks like right here. So if I do that, then I'm catching it. And so I'll just sew through, it's my folded fabric. I'm gonna catch my twill tape, and I'm just gonna go all the way down to where this, I guess where the seam starts. It kind of makes like a J shape. Alrighty, so I should probably mark it. If you want to get a hand sewing needle and mark it, that's fine. Or if you'd like to use pins, maybe baste it first, whatever you want to do. That will work. Let's see, I'm just gonna kind of pin mine in place. Okay. And then I have chalk here. I feel like it's easiest probably just getting chalk and drawing it to sew on the chalk. Again, or a hand sewing needle. Yeah, or I can just eyeball it and hope for the best. I don't know. Let's go see what happens. Okay, so I have it pinned. I'm gonna do the top stitch, and I really wanna make sure I catch this side of the zipper tape so that it gets sewn into the garment. I think to do that, I'm probably gonna have to put my foot on the other side, I believe. And again, now I do have the option. Oopsies, I just didn't mean to do that. I could kind of move the needle over if I want. Maybe that's helpful for me. Okay, let's see here. And again, it's probably a good idea to hand baste it first, which I did not do, and I'm probably going to regret in a minute. Okay, let's see here. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna push my needle down. Okay, looks like I'm catching my twill tape, and I just wanna go ahead and backstitch. I'm gonna sew straight. I can feel the zipper, which I'm kind of using that as a guide. Okay. Alrighty. I guess I'll keep sewing. And then now I'm gonna kind of want to work on that little J shape. So if you want to, you can always use it by hand too, because I am actually going to sew over my zipper teeth, and I don't want my needle to break. Lift up my presser foot a little. Just keep turning it. Oh, I feel the teeth. It went through. My needle did not break. Still kind of going through them. Lift up my presser foot again. Okay. And then I just want to go right to the fold, and then I'll try back stitching. Okay, that's it. I'm good. So get my needle up, lift up my presser foot, pull my fabric out. Let's see how this turned out. Okay, here we go. So of course I want to get rid of these pesky trims or pesky threads. Great. Okay, wow, looks like I caught everything. That's good. I don't know if my shape's not perfect. It's pretty good. Kind of looks like it got off a little funny, just right there. But overall, it's pretty good, especially considering I didn't use chalk or hand-based. But here's the moment of truth. Unzip. Yeah, it works. You can get in and out. Hooray. Here's the little crotch seam ready to go and be sewn. Ready to legs, ready to happen. But yeah, there we are. There is the mock fly seam. So can't wait to see how it works for you. And again, I have all my extra seam allowance up here to hopefully sew a waistband to later.